If you enjoyed this video, please like, share, and subscribe. And please join me on my website at nanice.com. Thank you. Reality surfing the net. How to survive the conspiracy theory rabbit hole. Hi, I'm Nanice. Somewhere on the journey of awakening, it's easy to get pulled down the conspiracy theory rabbit hole. In fact, if you're using the internet to find answers, it's impossible to avoid. One click leads to another, and before you know it, you're in the midst of doom and gloom. And once this dark reality clouds your consciousness, it's quite difficult to be positive and uplifting. Upon discovering the multitudes of dark and even evil theories, the culmination of conspiracies can make us feel powerless to make a difference. And many of us prematurely decide that it's pointless to even try. Indeed, a sense of hopelessness is bound to overtake anyone who has gone deep enough down this rabbit hole. Whether true or false, once lost in fear-based conspiracy theories, it's difficult to disentangle. But this is exactly what you must do. Some might say this is ignoring the truth, and from their perspective, they're right. However, science shows there's a much higher perspective with a much more enlightening truth. Indeed, the science of quantum physics tells us that every potential reality already exists in the quantum field. And each potential can exist in a multitude of parallel realities. Moreover, countless scientific studies have demonstrated how the act of observation affects reality. And in fact, reality morphs and molds according to the observer's beliefs. Taking all this into consideration, if every potential reality exists in the quantum field, this means that all conspiracy theories are theoretically true in one reality or another. Furthermore, if your beliefs determine the outcome and directly affect your reality, it also means that your belief in a conspiracy theory can in fact make it true for you in your reality. So, instead of wondering if a conspiracy theory is true, ask yourself if you want it to be true for you. Be warned, the search for truth can be a sneaky trap because the very act of searching will inevitably uncover proof of what you are looking for. Whatever you seek, you shall find. Indeed, it's a convoluted paradox, but this is how the universe and the law of creation work together. Therefore, your quest for evidence can in fact make something true that would have otherwise remained a quantum potential in your reality. This means if you seek proof of world domination or a dark world order of elitist, you're going to find it. Years ago, when I was personally lost in the conspiracy theory rabbit hole, I honestly didn't know what to believe. But when I believed a theory to be true, I would find proof of it everywhere. And yet, when I sought to prove the same theory untrue, I found just as much evidence. While on my trek down the rabbit hole, I often felt as if I was popping in and out of different realities, and with greater insight, I now believe that is exactly what happens while surfing the net. However, this phenomenon is not limited to the internet. Depending on our thoughts and emotions, we each pop in and out of realities all the time. But because these realities are so similar, we miss the subtle differences. The internet, on the other hand, allows us to entrance into vastly different realities than the ones we are most accustomed to. Consider that the internet is more than a gateway for information. In fact, it might help to imagine that the internet connects a large number of alternate realities through a virtual interface, and this interface allows us to explore all sorts of possibilities. This can be an extraordinary gift, and with immediate access to unlimited information, we can exponentially increase growth and development individually and collectively. At the very least, the internet offers an incredible adventure for the curious spirit. However, like all adventures, it does not come without proportionate risk. It may be intriguing to explore foreign realities, but if you don't know you're in a foreign reality, it can be difficult to return to the reality you know as home. Although the internet may act as an inner gate between realities, moving between alternate realities requires an altered state of consciousness. And in fact, the state of trance is the entrance into any virtual reality. Well, it just so happens the unconscious way most of us surf the net is quite conducive to trance. And you could even say that the internet is the greatest hypnotist in the world, and we are all willing participants. Indeed, while seeking information or looking for answers on the net, your subconscious mind is highly receptive, and combined with staring at a bright screen for lengthy periods of time, the hypnotic quality of the internet seduces us into a state of trance where consciousness is altered. Once in an altered state of consciousness, we seamlessly move between virtual realities without as much as a hiccup. The longer we surf, the deeper the trance. And the deeper the trance, the more receptive we become. This means that we are very susceptible to believing what we read, hear, and perceive. And when tired, the subconscious is even more receptive to suggestion. It also explains why we may be spacey during or after surfing the net and why hours pass so quickly when you're online. As you surf the World Wide Web, it might help to think of information as waves in a vast virtual sea of infinite potential. Each wave of information on the internet has a wavelength. The wavelength is determined by the frequency of the information, and the frequency determines the reality in which it exists. Again, the wavelength is determined by the frequency of information, and the frequency determines the reality in which it exists. So as you surf the net, you ride a wave of information into the virtual reality where that information exists. In a trance state, your ability to discern what to believe is at best questionable, and without strong discernment, it's incredibly easy to get sucked in hook, line, and sinker. When you believe information or even entertain the possibility, it doesn't take long before you're on the same wavelength. And as this occurs, your frequency morphs until you resonate with the frequency of the information. Needless to say, the wavelength of most conspiracy theories is fear. And therefore, the reality of these theories exists within a fear-based reality. So when you believe a conspiracy theory, you are on the same fear-based wavelength as that theory. And without any warning, well, other than fear itself, you become a vibrational match for this fear-based reality. Indeed, you don't need to completely believe something in order to be on the same wavelength. Sometimes curiosity is all it takes. And therefore, if you research a conspiracy theory long enough, which may only need to be a few minutes at most, you could get sucked in. Of course, when you get off the net, you come back to reality. But what reality do you come back to? While surfing the net in an unconscious trance state, we can hop between realities without locking in any one reality. But once we become conscious again, one reality or another locks into place, and therefore you may not come back to the same reality you left. But this is not up to chance, because the reality you experience is always determined according to your vibration. So you're actually always in charge. Quantum physics describes the universe as nothing more than vibrating springs of energy. And in fact, the universe and everything in it exists primarily as vibration, including you and me. We never notice the vibration that holds reality together because we are each masters at interpreting vibration into matter. And it is our masterful interpretation that makes reality appear so real. We each live in our own vibrational universe, and therefore your vibration is 100% your responsibility. Although many things determine your personal vibration, your thoughts, beliefs, and emotions are most certainly key factors. Since your vibration determines your reality, and you're always a vibrational match for your current reality, if you want to control reality, you must first and foremost control your vibration. And this means consciously choosing the information that goes into your mind. Without a doubt, you can become a vibrational match to anything you entertain. So if you're obsessed with finding the truth, you must risk being a vibrational match to the truth you find. How you feel at any given moment is always an indication of your current vibe. And how you feel as you perceive information on the internet demonstrates the vibration of that information. So use your body as a gauge. Notice how you feel before entering the net, and notice if that feeling changes as you read or listen to information. If you feel neutral before jumping into this quantum net, and you read something that provokes feelings of love, peace, or inspiration, it's safe to say that information provides an upward vibe. But information brings you down or causes feelings of hopelessness, fear, or despair, you can be sure that that information is taking you on a downward spiral into lower vibrations. And no matter how compelling, it's best to interrupt that negative flow ASAP. Indeed, If you can master your vibration, you can master your life. But most of us would agree that it's not easy when you are consistently bombarded by so much negativity. And when we believe what we hear, see, or read, we begin to resonate with the vibration of the information being received. This might not seem like a big deal, except the reality you experience always determines the course of your day, year, and even life. Your best possible destiny and your worst nightmare exist in vastly different realities. Since there's no way to find peace and joy in a fear-based reality, it's your job to live in the reality that contains the experiences you desire. The internet gives you direct access to any and every reality, but it's up to you to consciously choose the reality you want to make real. And in fact, each one of us, either consciously or unconsciously, chooses the reality we will inevitably experience. Sadly, unconscious choices are usually based on fear. This is due to the fact that fear is a most compelling manipulator, especially when under trance. And in fact, if you let it, fear will keep you entranced and consequently entrapped in a reality you would not consciously choose if you knew you had a choice. The point of what I'm sharing is to help you make that choice consciously. No matter how it might seem, no one out there controls the world. You control your world from inside you. Yes, the consciousness that is now listening to these words is the consciousness that controls your world. So ask yourself, is my control conscious or unconscious? If unconscious, you are inadvertently allowing outside forces to control your consciousness. And if something or someone is controlling your consciousness, they have control over your world. If you're not controlling your mind, someone or something else is. Regardless of appearances, there's no need to fight the bad guys. In fact, the only thing you need to do is regain consciousness, and this means reclaiming ownership of your mind. Clearly, the only way to be in charge of your reality is by taking complete ownership. Imagine treating your mind as valuable technology and consciously choosing the desired energy you want to fuel it with. Your mind can be fueled by love just as easily as it can be fueled by fear. But you have to consciously choose, or through complacency, this choice is made by default. And it's probably not going to be love. Think of your time on the internet as a virtual journey through time and space. But why surf the net on a flimsy surfboard when you could just as easily surf the net as captain of your own ship? So maybe you're wondering how to captain the journey. Well, here's how. Firstly, stop playing the game. Above all, stop trying to figure out if something is true or not true, because it's a waste of time and energy. Indeed, if you look hard enough, everything is true in one reality or another. But this truth-finding game is not a game you could ever win, because in your quest for truth, you run the risk of getting sucked into the reality where that conspiracy truth exists. Once again, instead of wondering if a conspiracy theory is true, ask yourself if you want it to be true for you. And if you don't, let it go and stop seeking proof. Practice ignorance. The opposite of entrancement is ignorance, but ignorance means to ignore anything you choose not to make real. In this way, ignorance is for the wise. Therefore, choose what you focus on and how long you focus on it. And whatever you do, don't allow negative information to mindlessly inform you. Otherwise, negativity will, in fact, form you from the inside out. Avoid the fear trap. Beware of any information that invokes fear, because fear activates the ego and makes you lose presence. It can take you down rabbit holes you never intended to go. Since fear can easily affect logic, learn to be discerning by using your inner guidance, and at the first sign of negativity in your body, switch directions. Remember, at any time, you can break the spell of fear by exercising your power of choice. But first, you must know you have a choice, and then you must activate that choice in a conscious and consistent manner. Be conscious as you surf. Never surf the net when you're tired, because your subconscious is more susceptible to input when you're exhausted or falling asleep. And 2, never surf the net when you're in a bad mood, because your mood definitely affects the quality of the information you are attracting. And 3, stay in touch with your environment. The more you're in touch with your physical environment and the more you're grounded in your body, the less vulnerable you'll be. So take frequent breaks, stretch, breathe, and go outside if at all possible. Set limits and boundaries. Limit your time on the net. The longer you surf, the deeper the trance, and the more entranced you are. The easier it is to pick up negative theories that you would otherwise discard. Think before you click. Don't just click links because they seem cool or inviting. You just never know where a harmless click will take you. And even if you plan to exit immediately, you can't predict what might suck you in. Exit upbeat. Since it's important to exit the net on an upbeat note, always spend the last 15 minutes on uplifting material for existing meditation, mood-elevating YouTubes, or viewing awe-inspiring images of nature. Navigating realities. How you feel is a good indication of your current vibration and therefore your current reality. While fear aligns you with a fear-based reality, love is the access key to more life-enriching realities. Feeling neutral can be a little tricky because underlying negativity can cloak as neutrality. So don't settle for neutral feelings. Always intend to feel good and positive. If you find yourself experiencing negativity, don't panic or resist because that will just keep you where you're at. Instead, find ways to realign your vibration upward. Meditate, go for a walk in nature, exercise, do yoga, perform your favorite activity, or engage with positive people. Just do your best not to bring them down. Since music is medicinal, it's one of the best remedies. By noticing how certain songs anchor certain moods, you can intentionally change a mood, raise vibration, and seamlessly shift realities just by listening to that special upbeat song. I have no doubt that the majority of the people listening to these words have a deep desire to make a difference in the world, and I'm right there with you. Making a difference used to mean fighting negativity and bringing down the bad guys. But in the big picture, it never works. In fighting against anyone or anything, we enter the reality where the undesired negativity exists. And through battle, we vibrationally align with the negativity we are fighting against. Ironically, we end up contributing to the problems we're trying to cure. Although it's impossible to change the outside world, you can change your inner world. And when you are successful, the outside world will change accordingly. Peace and war exist in two vastly different realities, and there's no way to attain peace in a war-based reality, just as there's no way to invoke war in a peaceful reality. Instead of resisting the reality you least desire, do whatever it takes to gain passage to the reality you desire. And this means raising your vibration, mastering your mind, and focusing on the reality you want to call home. So stop clicking your mouse and start clicking your heels. Indeed, you are the wizard of your reality, and Oz is your playground for life. Like Dorothy said, there's no place like home. There's no place like home. Thank you. I'm Nanice. If you enjoyed this video, please like, share, and subscribe. And please join me on my website at nanice.com. That's Nanice.com. Thank you.